Brit shit riot. TJ done shaved his britches.
I didn't shit nothing.
You had a shitty
no fucking
throw
britches,
back
bro.
a bottle of shit.
Yeah.
No.
We texted TJ like, "Where you at, man?" He's like, "Sorry guys, I shit my britches again." Frowny face emoji, poop emoji.
Dude, and TJ,
That's
people
not how it went down.
fucking Tajika fans from all corners of the internet coming out to go
fans
like,
from
"It's
all
Scotty's
corners of the
fault.
internet.
Scotty did it. Bullshit, I did it.
No.
No, TJ saw the title of this episode, Biggest Assholes of History, and he's all like, you know what, I gotta make my own case. Let me just show up fucking late. Just to fuck with these guys. I think TJ was fully.
You act like I was like super late or something.
Paul, you know what happened, dude?
Not
He
that
could have been
late.
on time, and he just fucked it off, dude. He's like, you know what? Make these motherfuckers wait on me.
Make them wait.
Well, like, Chelsea, is Chelsea back from PJ's with my iced coffee? Oh, not yet. Well, I can't grace their presence.
TJ, what happened to your cookie duster? You shaved off your cookie duster, TJ.
What happened to
Yeah, basically, it's starting to get really itchy, and I guess there was like, it was pretty red underneath. So I just like shaved it off.
What happened
I'm
to
pretty
your
sure. I'm pretty sure I'm
your
just gonna
soup
keep it
strainer,
off.
TJ?
Honestly, I'm not. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna do this now. I'm just gonna be Amish TJ for a while. So
what happened to your soup strainer?
it's dead. It's dead now.
What are you gonna use to strain your soup with, then, TJ?
I mean, if we're really honest, that mustache was not really so much of a soup strainer as it was like a storage compartment for soup and every
Soup
other.
dredger.
Yeah, I'm wondering what side of the Civil War you're fighting.
It was, you know,
on. That's
Paul,
just my main question.
you've
Are
often
you
asked
Confederacy
how-
because you live in the
Sorry.
South, or are you going to rebel and be in the Union? I'm just wondering based on your facial hair. That's the only thing I know about you. I'm assuming you've just transported in time.
I don't know. I'm bringing it back. That's all I know. But you know, you asked.
South shall rise again.
Paul wanted to know how the whale got its baleen, and I think that it started off as the mustache that I had.
That's the answer. Oh.
Yeah, I think the whale grew a big ass mustache, and it's like, hey, fucking bunch of plankton gets stuck in here, and then slowly over time it evolved into fucking whatever, you know, baleen and shit. So.
Yeah, dude, I think you have the weakest beard here now. Like, you know what, TJ, I'll be honest with you,
I don't
man.
have the weakest fucking beard. My beard is
Nah,
still
dude, let
very
me be
long.
honest with you. Let me just be
Yeah.
okay. Look, you can argue against my position, but you haven't heard what I had to say. Because
All right.
look, I mean, Paul was
Okay.
number one for a while. I felt like you came for the throne. You really grew it out.
Uh-huh.
But now you shaved off the mustache, man. I just feel like Paul's back number one. I mean, even though I don't like much of beard, I'm number two, and you're a distant third.
I mean, mustache and beard are two separate things.
I
for a
agree they
reason.
are. I'm not even disputing that, but the mustache completed your beard. It was like you have a magnum opus, TJ, but then it's like, how do we
You
end
know what?
this?
How
How do we end this?
If that's
It's
the
just not
price I
there.
must pay, then I'm willing to pay it because that mustache is just too fucking annoying to keep.
Man,
I like it better
quit as
aesthetically,
usual.
but I hate it. I hate it in every other fucking regard.
Paul,
so.
you know what? You gave Paul a sigh of relief because Paul probably actually thought you're like, man, TJ's committed to this beard thing, and then you just you answered his hopes and dreams. He just went, I can't stand it anymore. You don't think
Yep.
Paul's been through fucking some shit, dude? And I've been through some shit. Paul, I guarantee you've been through some itchy ass beard shit, right?
Yeah, of course. You get the itch beard, you get the getting in your food mustache. I mean, you got to deal with those things as a beard person.
Yeah,
you know,
TJ,
as a
moisturizing?
serious beardist.
I bet you Paul's moisturizing way more than you, dude. I just see it. Paul's doing this. He's like, oh, make sure my shit's all nice and moisturized. She just like, oh, 1 day a week. Oh, I guess. Okay, good.
I've said like a lot that I can't
Keep
wait to
giving
go
up, TJ.
gray, and now that I'm going gray, I don't like it. I'm like, I don't want to go gray.
Die the shit,
I
Paul.
mean, I already fucking dude. It started happening to me like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. So
It's
I'm
been
just like, and
happening
now
to me, but it's just
I
spreading.
got a big old fucking like goatee of gray within my beard, and I have silver hairs starting to crop up over here and shit too. So it's like, okay,
Dude, how are we related, TJ? Look, not a silver hair around.
yeah. Well, I bet you if you grew yours out, you'd have some
My
silver.
hair's super long, dude. My beard.
I mean,
Nah,
it's
you
not,
know why
none of
it's not?
None of it's happened up there yet.
You know why
It-
it's
it
not, dude?
happens
Because
in
I
the
just got
beard
mom
first.
shit. That's like mom. You know, dude, she hasn't had the gray hair. She's like 57.
That's
I'm just
true.
like, yeah, I'm
Your
sorry,
mom-
dude. You just got the shit genetics on that one. You got dad shit. You're gonna have like this big bald spot soon, TJ.
Cool.
I'm gonna fucking shine TJ's bald spot.
I mean, if that happens, I am just going to shave it off because I've already fucking been
Oh,
bald
so that's more
before.
respectable.
You know, and I remember, you know, that was the whole reason that I shaved my head bald to begin with, because I'm like, I might go bald one day, so I need to see if this is an option for me. and then I checked it out. I'm like, I could probably rock this. That'll work out.
It's not an option for me. I gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, some people do not have the right head for that. Like some motherfuckers got real pointy, weird heads. Remember when Dad did it and he looked like fucking Dr. Evil?
Dude, yeah. We're like, Dad, you gotta grow your hair back. Even having
Dude,
massive bald spot, you look better.
He literally presented it in the worst possible way because, like, my dad, he'd like try to maintain his hair for such a long time, and then we walked into the room and he was literally standing there, bald, but like also just wearing like clothing that looked almost identical to like Dr. Evil's clothing, but like not trying to.
A gray sweatsuit.
Yeah, he was wearing like a gray sweater and black pants and shit, and he looked exactly like fucking Dr. Evil, and we all just bust out laughing and shit. And he was like, he's not the kind of person that takes that kind of shit or took that kind of shit, you know,
no,
in his stride.
God, no.
He was like, who the fucking, you know, can't fucking even do it.
It's like, Dad, you look like Dr. Evil. You fucking shaved your head. You don't look good bald.
You should have just helped him like
tracksuit.
Should have just helped him lean into it and get him like one of those gray Kim Jong-un suits that Dr. Evil would wear, you know, like the double-breasted weird thing that he would wear. Just get him one of those, man. Take him to a con.
He would have been good at it.
Dude,
our dad's definitely one of those people that hated getting old. So he was like, I won't be sticking around. You know, it's like, fuck this. Being old sucks. See you guys later. Like, oh shit, that sucks for us, but that's the fucking cards.
Well, before we start the show proper today, there's a couple of things I wanted to just show you guys. I guess maybe not completely unrelated to the topic of the show tonight, which is history's biggest assholes. But
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, TJ even said it. Like he asked me, like, I'm gonna make a thumbnail. What's your show about? I was like, the biggest assholes. And he was like, so I'll just use a picture of me. I was like, that's not a bad idea. You could do it.
Yeah,
you guys gotta see.
I didn't dismiss it because it was inaccurate. I dismissed it because it was too obvious.
Yeah, I agree.
So if this is not a sign of the coming apocalypse, I don't know what is. Take a look at this shit.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
What do you mean, K?
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
Steve Harvey has a beard now.
Yeah.
Not just a mustache.
And that's a sign of the apocalypse?
Yes.
Okay.
He doesn't have his iconic, and look, he's even trimmed back the mustache and everything. He doesn't have his iconic mustache.
You know,
anymore.
I gotta say, he looks less disturbing, which
makes
it seem more disturbing.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like Steve Harvey anymore to me.
Yeah. I mean, I would
because the beard helps some people.
I recognize that he's Steve Harvey. But
right, you do.
Yeah.
But you know
I don't
what,
really,
TJ?
I gotta say, I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't think it suits him. Like, someone like Ted Cruz.
This is why I never keep the same look for too long, because then when you do change it, people are like, what? So you got to fucking make sure you fucking vary shit up enough that people don't get all weird.
You know what?
You
Fuck
change
that,
something.
TJ. Never change. How about that? Never change.
Be stagnant.
Stagnate. So yeah, this just disturbed me in the wee hours of the night last night as I was looking around for stuff. I found this picture and I was like, what the fuck?
That's how Paul's existential dread creeps in. He's like, what the fuck is going on?
What's he done? Why has he done it? Why have you done this?
Why you done what you done?
Because he wants to have that fucking resplendent beard, dude. He wants to have a beard.
And then I got a video for us to watch. Is something that made me think of you, TJ.
Cool.
Saw this first. So let's
oh man, this pissed me off so bad.
Oh, he's so mad about this. It's great.
This fucking annoys me to no end.
It does?
Oh yeah. This sickens me to the core of my being.
Why?
Because I was super excited until I realized it was a fucking stupid ass co-op goddamn bullshit. I was like, hell yeah, killer clowns are back.
As someone who likes Left 4 Dead 2 and shit, I think Paul is in the same boat. Like, I like multiplayer games like this.
I do not like that kind of shit at all. I mean, I guess if there's a single player mode where you don't have to do this fucking co-op,
there likely is with bots and shit.
I'm sure.
I don't want the bots either, though. I want to fucking just have a game where I'm just like the fucking solo motherfucker going around, man. They look good, though, I gotta say.
I can't wait to get to the level of, like, where there's a fucking ship and stuff, dude. With all the cotton candy harvesters.
I do like those clowns.
I'm definitely going to play it.
I saw this trailer a couple of days ago, and when I sat down to start working on tonight's episode, my brain got caught in a killer clown bear trap. Where like the first thing, usually I go with the first thing I can think of that sounds fun, and I was like, "Killer clowns, man! Killer clowns from outer space." And I started looking into it, and I was like, "Man, this is too thin. There's no way that I can do like a whole show on the making of killer clowns or whatever." So let's think of something else, brain. All right, how about killer clowns from outer space, Paul?
Right.
I know what that's like.
And it just like put me in a mood where it was like, I don't even want to fucking pull a show now because I can't do killer clowns from outer space, man. So that's what was going on in my head prior to this. But yeah, no, I thought of you when I saw this, TJ, because you're probably a bigger fan of killer clowns than anybody that I know.
It's literally the first movie I ever remember seeing on any level. Like, I remember being a fucking little kid at the foot of my father's bed, kind of like sitting on the floor. He was watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I was just kind of like sitting on the floor at the foot of the bed, kind of like looking at the TV. And I was like, I don't even know how young I was. I must have been really, really small. And I was watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I was just like, this is cool.
So it is that.
You were obsessed with that fucking movie. Every time like you like try to get me to watch it, and I did not even give a fuck. You're like, Scotty, watch it, and like it'd freak me out. Like you give me like they're in the scene where they're like basically the people become cotton candy and they're drinking them. She did like that'll happen to you, and I was like,
I don't remember that, but that sounds like me.
So yeah, here's some gameplay footage.
Oh, you tormented me with this movie all the time, dude.
People running. Looks like you it'll probably be like some players get to be the clowns, and then other players have to be the humans trying to get away from the clowns or thwart the clowns. So that should be fun.
I want to fucking kill some humans.
You should give some multiplayer games a try, TJ.
I ain't gonna do it.
Peyton, what the fuck are you talking about? Steve Harvey is not one of the worst people in existence. Okay.
Yeah, he's not even close.
Dude, Peyton's got a lot of bad takes. I'm sorry. We love you, Peyton, but you got a lot of bad takes.
That's a terrible Peyton take right there.
But that's what I expect from Peyton. So if Peyton had the right take, that'd feel wrong.
So before we get started tonight, I wanted to talk to you guys about the word asshole as it pertains to people's behavior, not necessarily the actual physical, you know what I mean?
I mean, it must tie into that, to some degree.
Well, sure. I mean, that's the root of it. You're calling somebody a sphincter,
Yeah.
So
I never really understood necessarily all the aspersions we throw out at people, especially motherfucker. I never really got that, because that sounds Chad as fuck. You fucked my mother. Like, that's not an insult to him. I don't know.
Yeah,
she's really ugly.
Yeah, you cooked me, dude.
You just fucking destroy MILF ass, man.
It's like, yeah, wow, what a fucking insult.
Unless your mom's really ugly, then it's like an insult to him. It's
I guess you're so hard up, you even fucked my mom.
Owning yourself,
she's one ugly
bitch,
and then but you're insulting your mom in the process at that point.
So when you search on the internet, which we have to do for all these shows, we've got to do, run some internet searches, find articles and things that are pertinent to whatever we're doing on the show.
Mm-hmm.
When you search like history's biggest assholes, it's all just like Hitler, Pol Pot, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, to me, maybe Hitler was an asshole in addition to being a genocidal maniac, but genociding an entire race of people out of your country, that's not a dick move.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is, but it's so much more than that.
Right.
Well,
it's so much beyond a dick move. It's so much beyond an asshole maneuver that it shouldn't even pertain.
Yeah,
and
like saying Hitler's an asshole.
Saying Hitler's an asshole. That's not. I mean, it's like we all understand he's something more than that.
Yeah, it's like being like, yeah, man, Hitler, he's a real fucking jerk, man.
Yeah, and almost like Hitler's like your annoying neighbor at that point. You know what I mean? Not like a horrible genocidal.
Now, by all accounts, Hitler was an asshole, but an asshole is the least of the things that Hitler was. So, yeah. So
that it actually made it surprisingly hard to pull for this episode, because finding places that that don't misuse the word asshole or misapply it was tough. And I did not want to pull like Joseph Stalin or whatever the fuck, unless I could find some stories about him, being self-serving or rude
Yeah, I get you. I mean, that makes perfect sense. That's why we're not going with like genocidal lunatics and stuff. We're just doing people who are like pricks.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
Did you ever kind of get disappointed when you looked into it and found that Hitler is just like a jerk in his personal life though? Because I always kind of hoped that like there would
then
be
he
that
strangled
like
a puppy dog for fun.
well, no, there'd be like that delicious but he was actually a really nice guy in person,
Yeah,
I don't know how you
vegetarian.
could.
He loved his animals and his friends. He treated them well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody said he was the nicest guy, but he just happened to be evil as fuck, But no, he was a jerk too, on top of everything else.
Being a genocidal maniac and being an asshole seems to go pretty much hand in hand, which is,
you got to be kind of entitled, I think, at the very least, to be like, you know what I should do? I think I have the right to just exterminate an entire race of fucking people based on my personal whims. Yeah, that seems reasonable. You got to kind of be a dick to come to that.
To come to that conclusion,
right?
Yeah. Yep. Did anyone stop me? No, actually, everyone's going to support me in this. Well, also, it's like, but that's like a delusion that feeds itself, right? Because like if everyone around you is going like, yeah, it's a good idea, and because everyone's just enabling whatever you want, because that's basically the people the social garden you've created around you is sycophants.
So I did want to say, when I was grabbing the pictures, because I do most of the thumbnails on our channel and stuff, and I contacted Paul last night, as he said, and I was like, okay, let's do this thumbnail. And he was like, yeah, it's on assholes. And I was like, is there any specific? Well, I did that joke that he talked about, about being me, which would have been fine, but too obvious. And then I was like, okay, so, but seriously, like who would be good for that? Like who you covering and stuff? I don't want to give away anyone else, but this is Howard Hughes, who's on there. Well, I already put the other person in there, so it's not giving away anything. I'm fucking retarded. Michael Jordan, of course.
He's a notorious asshole, dude.
But Howard Hughes here. One thing I did not realize until I was doing this, and maybe not so much in this picture, but in the picture I pulled, he kind of looked like Ben Shapiro a little bit.
I think he kind of looks like a manlier, better facial structure Ben Shapiro here.
Yeah, he's got better cheekbones for sure, better chin.
And you can definitely see why Howard Hughes was known as a ladies' man. And, basically like a who's who of 1930s and 40s Hollywood. If you were a starlet during this time, Howard Hughes probably railed you at least once. He's connected to pretty much every name that you could come up with from that era. And, you can see why. He's a good-looking chap here. Good-looking feller.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good-looking dude. I mean,
it didn't hurt that he was also very rich.
I don't know. He looks short, but maybe that's just because I keep thinking of him as like in Ben Shapiro terms, and I know Ben Shapiro's a little shorty.
Yeah,
I don't really mind shortness in dudes, but it does kind of take away from that Chad vibe a little bit.
Sure. So,
being real.
Not many people would be surprised to learn that Howard Hughes, the billionaire, recluse, eccentric, and all-around weirdo, could be a jerk at times. It's the extremes to which he went and the extreme pettiness involved in order to pull off some of his jerk moves that are pretty surprising. And
he was actually 6'4", by the way, so he was not at all short.
Wow, he's actually a big, lanky dude.
Yeah, so he is a tall man. He's very nearly as tall as I am, or was.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we're going to talk about one particular instance of jerk maneuvers, because I don't think that when it comes to like being a jerk to somebody who you've dated, I don't think that many people in this world have gone as far as Howard Hughes went to get revenge.
Louis VIII, maybe, or whatever. Not Louis VIII. What am I thinking of? 13th, 14th. Whichever one. The one that killed all his wives.
Henry
there we go. Henry VIII.
Louis VIII.
I'm doing
the eighth, right?
I think I'm fucking up the number, but I'm fucking up the name.
Country too.
Yeah. So this is Jane Greer, Hollywood starlet from the 1940s. She made a big splash. She was a film noir actress, so she was in a lot of those. I do not
like her hair at all.
Yeah, the hairstyles. There's some strange ones. This one looks like
there's some cool hairstyles from that era, honestly. I mean, like, it's not like the 80s where everyone had shitty hair, but this definitely is not one that has aged well.
This one looks like
it looks like Page Boy TJ's haircut got transplanted on top of her hair and then shrunk in the wash.
Yep.
It's got, like a little
It's
weird.
like curled. It's curled in the
head
front
disc.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I don't like that haircut at all.
It's a curled up page boy kind of cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, she was in a lot of those detective movies. Are like, out of all the offices in this doomed town, you had to walk into mine kind of actresses. She was in Dick Tracy, Out of the Past, The Big Steal, or probably her most well-known roles from the era. In 1942, she was just 18 years old. She caught the eye of Mr. Howard Hughes when he saw her modeling in Life magazine. He quickly became infatuated with her and sponsored her and sent her to Hollywood to become an actress. So he started her career. When she showed an interest in other men, it enraged Hughes. He reasoned that he had made her, and thus he had every right to break her if he wanted to.
So
Jane,
basically, like pretty textbook, like a narcissistic sort of behavior there.
yes, it's Jane here in the middle.
Yeah.
Her mother worked for the War Department and got her this gig. She was one of 3 young women chosen to model uniforms for the new Women's Army Corps in 1942. When her modeling appeared in the June 8th, 1942 issue of Life magazine, many across the country were smitten with her, including Howard Hughes. So this is the picture, basically, that he saw her and he was like, oh my God.
Like, damn.
I got to have that chick.
Oh,
right there.
God damn.
It was the Instagram of its day. He's like, oh, damn. I gotta do it.
One of his favorite things to do was to collect beautiful women, basically.
Shocking.
And he did it like, a normal person might collect stamps. He saw a beautiful woman, and because of his status, he knew that he had a pretty good chance of getting them. And so he went about, getting as many
hey, I'm
women.
insanely rich and powerful. I could probably fucking bang that chick.
Yeah, this will work out for me.
This is probably gonna work out just fine.
So when he, sponsored her, shipped her off to LA to become a movie star, he made her sign what he called a personal contract. And personal contract is exactly as creepy as it sounds. She signed this contract that said, among other things, that she would never marry anybody. And basically,
Tom Cruise, dude, that's kind of shit with that one chick he was married to for a minute from the Batman movie.
Katie Holmes.
Yeah, that bitch.
Yeah, I think there was something like this.
Yeah,
yes.
he did.
I believe I heard something about that.
Shit, probably. I mean,
so why was this guy rich?
His parents owned.
He was rich for a lot of reasons, but
his parents owned a tool company. That's where he got his millions from. And he tried his very best. His parents owned a Houston tool company called Toolco, and he tried his very best to squander every penny of that fortune, but made a lot of money along the way.
He was an aviator. I mean, the movie about him is called The Aviator.
He was infatuated with planes. He wanted to make the fastest planes. He wanted to make the most comfortable passenger planes.
And he was a pilot as well. I mean, he was like a daredevil pilot. I mean, he was in numerous plane crashes. He fucking did record-setting.
Well, and the movie they portrayed that worst crash that nearly killed him. Like he nearly died in a plane crash.
He was an engineer. He directed movies as well. He was actually a film director, which is kind of weird.
That's a huge part of The Aviator too. Is like waiting for like the right cloud conditions.
Yeah,
so they could film this fight scene, this dog fight.
He actually, I mean, he did like he did some crazy fucking movies. He actually did the original Scarface, not the super famous one, but like the 30s one.
He also funded that John Wayne one where he's Genghis Khan. I think it's The Conqueror.
Yeah, that's not his finest cinematic moment or anything.
No, definitely not. But he did have a part in that too.
But he only directed 2 of the movies, but he produced a shit ton. Like he was heavily involved in a bunch of movies.
So at first, when he presented her with this contract, her being 18 years old and probably smitten with him, she happily signed it. She didn't really see any problem with it. She liked him. As she put it years later, I found him rather endearing, like a child. His idea was to take me to the amusement park and win me a large collection of Cupid dolls. So that's where they went for dates. they would go, to the amusement park, and he would walk her around. It's almost like a daddy-daughter date. It's a little creepy, but
Yeah.
but that's the only place he liked to take her was, to the amusement park, and he'd run around and win her as many dolls as he could to show his.
Probably bribed all the fucking carnies beforehand.
Yeah.
Yes. But when she started to welcome the attentions of other men, the jerk came out. The asshole came out of Howard Hughes, and the rest is history. We're going to talk about it here. Howard Hughes taking Jane Greer out to amusement parks was all well and good for a while. Things got awkward, however, when Greer welcomed the attentions of other men who saw her as a woman and not a little kid, and had more in mind than taking her to amusement parks. Hughes wasn't the only one captivated by Greer's 1942 modeling photos. Star crooner, pictured here with Jane, Rudy Valley, was also smitten. Also an example of how having a really good singing voice can pretty much cover up anything else, because this guy looks like a fucking dork.
Yeah, but that is true. If you can fucking get out there and belt out a tune, I don't know. That's like I think that's probably the biggest modifier of like attractiveness in the fucking world for some reason.
Musical skill.
Gotta be
like there's been, there's just like
one.
musicians, just like you can be butt fucking ugly.
Doesn't matter.
You could be totally unappealing at every level. You'd be like repulsive, have a terrible personality. Everything in the world can be fucking wrong with you. But if you can get out there and fucking go, they're just like, damn, their pussies are just gushing fucking wet. And it's just the fucking reality of life. I don't know why that is. I don't know who made those rules, but that's just how it fucking goes.
Them's the rules, man. Sorry.
So Greer might have liked, and from her accounts, she did like hanging out with Hughes, but a wealthy eccentric treating her like a kid with trips to the amusement park was no competition for a star singer romancing her like the woman that she was. And Rudy Valley basically swept her off her feet. They had a whirlwind courtship, and in 1943, they were married. And that left Hughes feeling pretty salty because of the contract. The legality of the no marriage contract wouldn't have held up even back then, but he still felt betrayed. I think we've all probably been betrayed at one point in our lives, but Howard Hughes had the mental makeup and the financial capacity to do some pretty crazy things to people who betrayed him. And he went very quickly with her from doting to destructive. He set out to basically ruin her, burgeoning movie career. And he pretty much did.
Right. Well, he's super rich, and he's well connected in the film industry. So,
yeah, that's.
And here he looks like
we've seen people do that now.
He looks like a young J. Jonah Jameson,
Dude. Yeah, there's modern analog.
Before I started the Bugle. All right.
No, like this has happened. This happens all the time in the entertainment industry. If you fucking cross the wrong person, you get stamped out.
So she initially tried to escape him. Howard Hughes had brought her to Hollywood, got her acting lessons, set her up with an apartment, got her, auditions and everything. But after the romance with Valley, he kept her shelved with no screen tests, no acting gigs. So she sued him to get out of this personal contract, which it turns out, didn't hold up in court. She succeeded in getting the contract nullified, and she joined RKO, which was one of the big five studios of Hollywood's golden age. Greer had a run of successful films with RKO, but Hughes, not content to let her get away with breaching the contract, he bought the studio.
Oh my God, dude.
The level of vindictiveness.
Yeah, you know what?
I'll just buy that whole fucking studio then.
Yeah, you have a contract with the studio now, you have to work for them? All right, guess what?
This is why no one should be that fucking rich. Because no one should have the power to just be like, I will now buy an entire company just to fucking spite my ex because I'm pissed.
Now, in the movie The Aviator, about Howard Hughes's life, it's portrayed that he bought RKO so that they, like he wouldn't be hounded about money when it came to making his movies. But it's thought by most people that this is the real reason why he decided to buy the studio, was literally just
Spite.
against Jane Greer.
I have been spurned. Fuck you. I buy this studio.
I mean, yeah, what an asshole, but also I have to stand back in awe of his assholishness. I mean, to go to that lengths to like just not to say, fuck it. I mean, because this guy had, he could definitely move on. He had a million other opportunities, a million other beautiful women, but he's so petty. He's just like, I can't let this go. We signed this bullshit contract, which we all know is bullshit. And I'm so unwilling to let this go that I'm going to buy the studio that you work for and have a contract for. Because that was a big thing back in the day, was you got a contract with the studios. Yeah. So your career is over now because you can't just go sign with somebody else. That contract will hold up.
So he basically bought the studio, and then his first act as owner of the studio was to call her to his new office.
Oh my God.
And he told her, I'm not going to use you in any movies. The problem with that was she was under exclusive contract to RKO. Here's a quote from her. Since I was under exclusive contract to Howard at RKO, that meant I would not be able to work for anybody else either. I told him directly that this meant that he was ruining my film career. He replied by saying, yes, that's right.
That is correct.
That's right. I love that. Just like, yep, that's right. That's what I'm doing. She managed to slip in a few roles, but only when Hughes could literally not find anybody else that could step in. And after 6 years of barely any work, she was able to pay the final installment to buy out her contract. But by then, her
star had fallen by that point.
And her most lucrative years as, a young, beautiful ingenue were behind her. And, along with the other slanderous things that he did behind the scenes, just, talking shit about her to other studios and stuff, he was effectively ended her career. By then, Howard Hughes' jerk move had cost Greer her best and most lucrative acting years. So I got to say, that's a dick move of pretty epic proportions there. I don't know if there's any that'll match it tonight. Maybe I should have put Howard Hughes a little later on the list, but this is how I pulled it.
Oh man, that's pretty fucking insane, dude, to go to those lengths. I mean, like, I just think as most people, like, if you feel like you're wronged at some point, despite whatever the person says, they let it go. They move on with their life in some way. Maybe never really being okay with what happened, but just acknowledging that's reality. But Howard Hughes did not do that. He had the means to fucking go to whatever lengths he wanted to go.
Smith Black asking the question that's on everybody's mind. Wait, no, it wasn't. It's Xandos, the Dwarf King. Wait, did he fucked her or not? Did he ever fucked her?
That's a good question.
Paul, nice research and all, bro, but did he fuck her? That's what I need to know.
Did he hit it?
The burning question on my mind, Paul, is did he fucked her? Paul.
I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at it, no pun intended, and say yes, he probably did fucked her.
Yeah, I don't think that he would have been... I mean, if they had never even gotten to that point, I don't think it would have... I don't think he'd be this pissed, I'm pretty sure this dude fucking sealed that deal. I'm pretty sure that after that first trip to the amusement park, some stuff went down.
The fucked up thing too is that if he probably would have got bored with her at some point anyways, and just would have moved on with his life.
But yeah, that's very, very likely.
This is like before, all the Me Too shit. So, like he could get away with this Harvey Weinstein shit and no one fucking even blinked. It was just like, yeah, that's how the business works, sweetie pie.
Them's the breaks, sweet cakes.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you did this now, your name would be dragged through the mud about 1 million
times.
You
broke Howard Hughes' heart. What did you expect, you fucking whore?
You harlot? Poor Howard.
I feel
bad ruined in this town. So let's talk about our next enormous asshole. And a lot of these, here's another thing that I found that pissed me off about looking for this. You'll say like biggest assholes. Biggest assholes in history or biggest jerks in history or whatever. And you'll get this list of people but no information about why they're jerks. It's like Emma Stone is a jerk. People say she's rude, and I'm like, I can't use that.
What
You
the
know,
hell, like
can't be
missing
like-
hearsay?
You can't just put Emma Stone on the fucking
Someone
screen, like,
said she's
she
a
was
bitch.
rude. She's rude, guys. Emma
yeah.
Stone,
So
rude
turns
bitch.
out somebody said she's rude on the set. Like Julia Roberts is another one where there's this very thin gruel. Like it's pretty well known that Julia Roberts.
Not nice to me. I asked for an autograph and she said, "Go away."
Yeah, like the best I could find on Julia Roberts was like on the Pan that Pan movie, or what was it called? Was it Peter Pan or
It was Hook.
Hook? Thank you.
Yeah.
On Hook, when she played
Just don't ask me
Tinkerbell.
who Henry VIII is. I don't know that one.
Yeah,
Louis the 14th.
she was
Louis the 14th or something. I don't know. You know that guy. Anyway,
she was
sorry,
apparently like going through a breakup with Kiefer Sutherland at the time, which is another person that turns up on the list. And then you look into it, and it's like he's a jerk to people on the set. It's like I can't use that. You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah,
enough.
you gotta come with specific information.
I want some stories, man. I want some stories about the jerkiness, and there's none of that.
This dude is a no. I'll tell you what. I've read all these like asshole celebrity threads and stories on various websites, and this guy's name pops up constantly.
Yeah,
I don't know if
all
he's
the
on your
time.
list or whatever, but another guy that pops up a lot is John Cusack. See that dude
Really?
all over those lists.
Yeah. He's on pretty much every one of the lists, but it's always just like this nebulous shit. There's no story to it, you know.
Yeah.
Like he said this to this person, and then he continually did this. Like that would be
Well, that's
enough
the
to
thing
put
about-
him on here.
That's the thing about being an asshole is that, like, usually the assholes, their exploits are pretty fucking. I mean, it's usually just like he wasn't nice to me,
Right.
which is like okay, that sucks that he wasn't nice to you, but like there's not much of a story there,
Yeah, and there's got to be a
Sure.
pattern, and there's got to be a narrative as to why this person is not just selective. Because I've been an asshole to people here and there and everywhere, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
but I don't consider
course.
myself worthy of this list level asshole.
Right.
Um,
You've never bought a movie studio to fucking spite some chick that you were mad at or whatever.
no,
And even if you,
nor
I'm
would
pretty
I.
sure even if you had the money, that would not be a
No,
course of
yeah.
action you'd consider.
No.
So
Everybody wants to be like Mike, right? Right? Got to shoot hoops with Bugs Bunny. Ended up saving Looney Tune Land with Bill Murray.
Bugs
That fat guy who played Newman on Seinfeld. Remember he was in there too?
Hell yeah.
Wayne Knight the Eighth.
Sadly, although he was likable in the movie and pretty much adored by children in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to because he was just so fucking good at what he did.
Yeah.
Like this was before. I mean, like, well, nowadays, if someone's really good at something, they kind of get hated on it because people are just like jealous little bitches nowadays. But back in the day, if you were good at something, people actually liked you.
Yeah. It's
It
crazy,
wasn't
I
like
know.
today when like, LeBron James is really good, so everyone hates his guts.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was actually liked for being really good. It was back in the day when people appreciated, hey, this person has talent and can do something incredible.
Dude, on ESPN,
I like that.
they would rank top athletes, and like Michael Jordan of all time was like, I believe either number 2 or number 1. Like he was way up there. And that was like, wow. I mean, he was retired at that point, but just a few years out of it. So I mean, like there was really an admiration for him as an athlete, like basically saying like maybe with Babe Ruth, a bigger American athlete, but that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much he tops a lot of people's personal lists for greatest athletes of all time.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
And he was really like, to this day, probably one of the like most successful basketball players off the court.
Oh fuck yeah,
like,
dude. He had every endorsement.
Oh
deal, like,
man, I mean,
he made more money on
I don't know
endorsements than
how-
he did on playing basketball.
I mean, I don't know
let's
how
put it
many.
that way.
I don't know how many endorsements he's getting to this day. Probably still quite a few, but
Dude, he owns a
back
fucking.
in the day, there was.
He owns like a basketball team, doesn't
He
he?
owns
at
a
this
golf
point?
course. He
Oh,
owns
yeah, I mean,
he owns
so
a
much
basketball
shit.
team.
I mean, he's
he
a
owns his
billionaire,
own
I know that.
restaurant.
We've
got
looked
like
into his. We looked at his house one time on that one of my
Like
shows.
houses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, but we
We also
looked at,
looked at
his
the menu.
main house. You know what I mean?
His main house is massive.
Which is
We looked at the
huge compound.
We looked at the menu for his 23 restaurant in Chicago as well, which high-end steakhouse or whatever. So let's talk about some of the stories, because I guess, within the last 10 years or so, a lot of these little stories have started to leak out about him being a total fucking asshole. So let's take a look at one of them. You may not recognize this guy, and I don't blame you. He's a rap guy that was popular in the early 2000s.
Is this 50 Cent?
No, Chameleonaire.
It looks like 50 Cent.
His name is Chameleonaire.
All them rap types look alike to me.
I only know his
what I mean?
music too well, but I remember him.
I do remember this dude, though. I remember his name around the way.
Yeah. And there's actually a video of him telling the story of his run-in with Michael Jackson.
Shit.
I thought
Michael
did a better
Jackson,
job than I would.
Michael Jackson, whoa.
We're talking
sorry,
Michael Jordan.
I was like, whoa, this episode just shifted.
So here we go. Let's listen to Chameleonaire talk about what happened between him and Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got everybody paying attention. I know a lot of y'all be asking me about this Michael Jordan story, right? Everybody sees me always talking crazy about Michael Jordan. Let me explain to you. I saw Michael Jordan. I met Michael Jordan at this Michael Jordan party. It was at his party. And I never, I know it's some rumors that I asked him for an autograph and he said no, or that's a lie. I saw Michael Jordan. I'm at a party and I don't ask nobody for nothing. I never do. I don't like when people overly do it to me. I had saw Michael Jordan taking pictures with girls. He was like, and I ain't mad at it. He's taking pictures with people, you know what I'm saying?
Shocking.
He's taking pictures and he's just every now and then taking pictures, you know what I'm saying? So then later on, you know what I'm saying? I seen him and they was like, oh, there go Mike. And he was standing over there. He was with some of the Boston Celtics. He was with Spike Lee. He was with I don't know, some other people.
Spike Lee, another total fucking prick, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely also known as really like a hard director to work with as well. But I mean, look, dude, the proof is in the pudding. The guy has directed.
He's got some good fucking films under his belt. I'm not gonna deny
of course he's hanging with Michael Jordan too. It's like, you're cool, you're good enough. You're good enough to hang with Michael.
Of course.
I was just like, man, this is just that one moment where I'm gonna say, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go say, I'm gonna ask Mike for a picture. And then I said, I went over there and I said, hey fellas, nobody was talking, they was just chilling, whatever, right? And I was just like, man, I don't mean to be rude, but Mike, I just want to know if I could get a picture. And then now I understand, I kind of expected him to say no. So I wasn't mad if he said no, but the way he said it, he said, oh, hell nah, man, I ain't taking no pictures with no niggas. And he said it like that. And I was like, I kind of
literally some hot bitches show up. Michael's like, yeah, I'll take a fucking picture. All right. And he's like, hey, Mr. Michael, can I please have a photo with you? I'm your biggest fan. Man, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Get lost, bitch.
And I love it because Michael Jordan knows he's seen all this shit. Like, yeah, come on over. I'll have another picture. He walks up, is like obviously some starstruck fan, and he's like, fuck off. I don't want to fucking
get the fuck out of here.
How do you even get to my fucking party?
Just dogged him all the way out, man. Pretty fucked up.
Seriously.
I was
poor
like,
bastard.
Wait a second, I don't think he heard. I turned back and my boys were just looking at me like, damn. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of thought that he didn't hear what I said. And I was like, keep in mind, I had just came from a Reggie Bush event. Everybody knows about the Michael Jordan.
Dude, no. Sorry. Bullshit. Did I really hear that? No, dude, it's because here's the fucking real deal. He's Michael Jordan, and you might think I'm a millionaire. It's like, but you ain't shit compared to Michael Jordan as far as fucking fame and wealth and everything else, dude. So
he found it out that night.
Yeah, in Michael Jordan's eyes, you were like just like a pleb. He didn't even.
Yeah, you were like a level
famous.
You were like a level 2 celebrity trying to fucking go up to like a god tier celebrity and be like, "Yo, Michael Jordan, let me get a picture with you. Get out of here, you clout chasing little bitch."
Like, who the fuck do you think you are?
But Reggie Bush is doing this event, right? And he was auctioning off these jerseys. So I had to keep on raising my hand and bidding for these jerseys, right? And it was a Michael Jordan jersey, an Allen Iverson autograph, the Shaq, a Vince Carter. There was a whole bunch of jerseys, right? And I kept raising my hand. It was like 1,000. I raised my hand. They said 2,000, and some dude raised his hand. And they said 3,000. I raised my hand. They said 4,000. We kept going back and forth. And then I finally went over to him at 7,000. It was like, hey, man, stop raising your hand, man. You don't want them jerseys. And he was like, I said, man, how about we stop and then we both split the jerseys at 7,000 and we split the money. And he was like, all right, cool. So we didn't raise our hands no more. And then they said, sold to Chameleonaire and that guy right there for $7,000. So the guy tells me that he wasn't even tripping. He didn't even want to get the jerseys. he was just trying to show off to Kim Kardashian, who was on the stage. I was like, man, this dude that made me pay $7,000 for these jerseys, and he didn't even want the jerseys. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, whatever,
Okay,
right?
so let's man, he's like, I'm mad. He's like, I don't want to fucking buy these jerseys. So dude, he's mad. He's doing the same shit. He was trying to impress everyone what he was doing.
This is a bad night for Chameleonaire, man. He got finessed out of $7,000 for some jerseys from a dude that just
and the thing
wanted
is,
some
like,
pussy.
he could have just left this alone, but instead he feels the need to tell this story about, like, man, let me tell you about the night that fucking Michael Jordan cucked me like 80 times.
The night Saint Michael fucking, destroyed me as a person.
Yeah. There's one more little tidbit with Michael.
Michael, I'm like, I just bid $7,000 for a Michael Jordan jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he goes, you know what? I tell you what. You pay $15,000 right now for a jersey from me, and I'll take a picture with you. And keep in mind, Michael Jordan's real tall. He's looking down on me. I'm like,
he's real tall. He's looking down at me like I'm a little baby.
Yeah.
And he's like, tell you what, bitch, give me $15,000. I might consider taking a picture with your bitch ass.
You should have done it, dude. You should have done it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I mean, just splash out. You should have saved that jersey money and just gave it directly to him.
He's Chameleonaire, dude. He doesn't have 15,000 in his pocket. They'd be like, dude, you know what he should have done? He should have been like, Michael, 15's not enough. Here's 30. Then Michael had been like, damn, I like this guy. He should have he wasn't thinking, man. He's like, you gotta get into his good graces, man. You gotta do something. You should have fucking dropped even more money. If you're a rapper and you got $100,000 in your pocket, dude, are you even really a rapper?
No.
True.
Not especially not nowadays.
I mean, some rappers like, man, I ain't got $15,000. It's like, what the fuck, dude? What are you? You're not.
I would have went right over and got that. Yeah, just go to the ATM, man. What the fuck?
In my life, man, my heart just started racing. Like, I'm about to steal off on this fool. And I thought about all the times when
yeah, you ain't gonna do shit, dude.
Michael Jordan
I was fixing to kick Michael Jordan's ass, y'all, but then I thought to myself, I'm not even physically capable of doing that.
Not to mention, like, the 50 people are gonna jump to Michael Jordan's defense, so I don't think that's a good idea.
Dude, Spike Lee probably would have joined in to gang stomp Chameleonaire if he'd attacked Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah.
I used to pause the little video game or the basketball game and draw the picture of this dude dunking. I thought about all the times when I seen John Starks come baseline and just dunk on them fools. I thought about the time when Allen Iverson crossed them over, and I was like, what? Jordan, how you let Allen Iverson cross you over? Like, big Michael Jordan fan. And it's just...
I'll never meet your heroes, Chameleonaire.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
Poor Chimichanga.
Just paid the money. Should have paid the money and been like, look, I had a picture of me and Michael Jordan. That's what you should have done.
Poor bastard.
But here's a little bit of assholery that has become legend.
Yeah, this is the asshole
assholery
of myth.
Yep. So the day before Game 4 of the 1993 NBA Phoenix Suns and Chicago Bulls series, Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, who was on the Suns at the time, went golfing together. They played 48 holes of golf, so like, I don't know, man. They played like 3 or 4 whole rounds of golf. And Michael, at the end of it, bought Charles Barkley a $20,000 diamond earring, which Charles thought was an act of friendship. When he asked why he bought it by the Bulls assistant coach, Jordan said, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's 20,000 to me?" And he says, "Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat fuck."
Oh my God. Yeah, Machiavellian shit, basically. Just like some psychological warfare by Michael Jordan so he can fucking keep rising. He can keep winning championships.
Yep. Jordan ended up putting up 55 points during Game 4, and Charles Barkley never stopped him once. So he was right. The Bulls blew that series out. And it softened Charles Barkley. So he's like, this is a normal person. You know what I mean? That like has feelings of friendship and shit. So let me exploit that by giving him a gift. He's also known to have ruined the career of this guy here, Muggsy Bogues, who was
yeah. I forgot about that fucker.
Yeah, he played for the Charlotte Hornets. He was the shortest player in basketball at the time, and a great shooter. Now, this is one that Muggsy Bogues denies, but the tail of the tape is pretty damning here. And Muggsy Bogues was also in Space Jam, if you'll remember.
Yeah, he was.
On the one of the biggest possessions of the game, a big turning point in a game that they were playing. Muggsy had the ball. His team was down by 1. Jordan was guarding him. And all of a sudden he backed off and looks him right in the face and says, "Shoot it, you fucking midget."
Oh, God.
Damn.
Muggsy tried to shoot it. It swung way wide. It was almost an air ball. And it didn't even come close. A year later, Muggsy gave an interview, which he's then contradicted in his old age. But he gave an interview saying that day, with that comment, Jordan had ruined his shot, basically. Like after that happened, he couldn't shoot during a game without thinking of that moment, and it threw his shot off.
Damn. It resounded through history. It resounded through his head.
Ruined his
the rest
run,
of his
man.
life, dude.
Yep.
The rest of his professional life. Every time he made a shot, shoot it, you fucking
Dude, because
midget.
Michael Jordan had that, dude. He has that fucking he's got the eye of the tiger, dude. He fucking is like, you know what? Shoot it, midget. And it's like, he's like, all right, and he shoots it and he fucking misses, and it's like, we win. It's
Yep.
like, well, I mean, that is gonna fuck with your psyche, dude. It's like you were given the opportunity to win. The guy that's basically regarded as the best player is like, there you go. You want to win the game? Here it is. I'm not even gonna fucking guard you, and you miss.
Yeah. Now Muggsy, like I said, has contradicted this in his old age
of
and
course he
interviews
has.
and stuff. But the tail of the tape is there.
No, I never. Oh, that was not.
If you look at Muggsy's
happened?
record, his shooting, his field goal percentage, just his impact on the game, literally this game represented the peak of that. And after this, he just slowly fell off until obscurity.
Wow,
So I think he was a little more honest about it when he was young. And he's trying to like save face now.
This image is perfect too, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like little key boy. It's like he looks like a fucking small child.
Yep.
Fucking midget.
So this is a great one. We're not going to watch it because it just goes on and on and on. But Michael Jordan, of course, was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Basketball Hall of Fame. And his Hall of Fame speech is pretty much legend. It was the event that really started people coming out to talk about what an asshole Jordan was. I watched most of the speech in 2X last night, and it's mostly him just bragging about how incredible he is and how incredible his life story is.
Of course.
Interspersed with just shitting on people going all the way back to high school. So
He's like, here's a list of every motherfucker I bear a
He's got like a
grudge
prick
against.
Rolodex. He's all like, all right, let's go back to high school. This is the
Let me
first
just
asshole
open
that
up
pissed me
my
off.
fucking Rolodex of those who doubted me at any point.
yeah,
Fuck
these
you.
types of speeches are typically like,
It's very saccharine usually, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's filled with like thank yous and stuff. There are 2 thank yous in his 36-minute acceptance speech,
Is
which
it
is
thanking
also
himself?
like triple the length of most other acceptance speeches at the Hall of Fame.
So this is like a screed,
Yes.
basically.
He ripped on his high school teammate Leroy Smith, saying that Leroy's game is probably the same as it was in high school. Smith got picked for the varsity team over Jordan in 10th grade. So there's that bunch of sour grapes. Added to the list was Buzz Peterson, his roommate at UNC, both of his brothers. Dean Smith for not picking him as a starter for SI Magazine. Jerry Reisendorf for holding him back when he was recovering from a foot injury. Doug Collins for not wanting him to practice during the summer. And several other people. He ripped on the Bulls GM Jerry Krause, which, you know, I mean, that one is almost expected because he had a really bad relationship with Jerry Krause. But he's quoted, he said in the speech, "Jerry's not here. I don't know who'd invite him to be here. I didn't." The multi-millionaire even ripped the Hall of Fame itself for raising the ticket prices to attend his speech. Not because he cared about other people's wallets, but because it cost him more money to bring his family to the event.
What a fucking cheap ass dude.
He ripped on Pat Riley for not letting him fraternize with Charles Oakley or Patrick Ewing. And he also got a shot off on Jeff Van Gundy, calling him the little guy on the staff. So he just goes, it's basically just like a list of like, here's all the people that fucking pissed me off. Like he has this opportunity to give a speech, about how grateful he is for his career, and instead he just shits on everybody. And what isn't shitting on people is him talking about what an amazing, spectacular player he was, and how different he was from everybody else, and how unique and special he is. It's pretty fucking crazy. It's pretty cringy to watch. I recommend, if you've got some time on your hands one of these days, go give it a look, because I don't think I've ever heard an award acceptance speech quite like it in my life.
Wow, I'll definitely have to check it out. That sounds
so.
It sounds one of a kind for sure.
Yeah. Definitely a Michael Jordan original. So let's move on to our next asshole. This is only one kind of maneuver, but given who we're looking at here, this is George Orwell, by the way.
Writer of Aminal Farm.
Yep.
And 1984.
Yes.
Right. And
so politically speaking,
I don't know about.
Yeah. Politically speaking, George Orwell was a socialist.
Right.
But while he had left-leaning politics, Orwell straight up hated the Soviet Union and communists. Right. He despised totalitarianism, couldn't stand communism. For proof, you just take a glimpse at his two classic works, Animal Farm and 1984. These two novels absolutely tore the USSR a new one. It's pretty well known that he was railing against Soviet totalitarianism in those books.
Mm.
But even though Orwell hated dictators and overbearing bureaucracies, that didn't stop him from selling out his fellow writers and artists to a powerful government agency.
Yeah, I heard about this.
In the 40s, he did some work for the UK's Foreign Office, specifically for a group called Information Research Department, or IRD. In true Orwellian fashion, that innocuous-sounding name belonged to a department that specialized in churning out propaganda. The IRD's job was to smear the Soviets, so Orwell wanted to make sure they didn't hire anyone with communist sympathies. So he took aim at some high-profile names. He drew up a list of writers and influential people. So basically, he just handed over the names of a bunch of writers to a government agency, labeling them as communists. Which, given his reputation, especially the reputation of his most popular works, seems like something that Orwell, wouldn't do. He wouldn't work with a shadowy government propaganda agency against other people, even if he disagreed with them. That's kind of the point of, those books in a way, is that disagreement is okay. A breadth of political opinion is okay. And any kind of move to snuff that is bad. It's a pretty dirty move, especially for a man whose entire career was about taking down Big Brother. It seems like a lot of authors and actors wound up on Orwell's list because they were black, Jewish, or gay as well. So, this is a pretty short one. I couldn't find tons and tons. Orwell probably wasn't a big public figure, but it's a pretty big dick move. If you're gonna be the author of some anti-totalitarian works and then go to work for the government, finger pointing people for believing differently than you.
Have any belief you want, as long as it's not communism.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a bunch of people you don't like are communists.
Of course. So, yeah, I think that, maybe he wasn't the world's biggest asshole all the time, but I think that's a pretty big dick move. And certainly, qualifies him for the list here today. Picture of him here. Know who this is?
Is that Charles Dickens?
Yes, it is. Charles Dickens.
Charlie Dickinson.
A grade A asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Especially to his family.
Wow.
You think that a man who had 10 children with his first wife, Catherine, might have had a penchant for kids, but this was certainly not the case with Charles Dickens. On the day that his son Plorn was born, he had a son named Plorn.
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 Come here, Plorn.
Sounds
I
like a
love you,
fucking
Plorn.
Star Trek original series Klingon name.
Seriously.
So the day his son is born, he writes, "On the whole, I should have dispensed with him," in his biography.
What?
Yeah.
I guess Blorn was a disappointment.
Imbecilic little wretch.
I should have strangled Blorn in his cradle.
This seemed to be his general feeling when it came to his children. There was the feeling that he had too many sons needing to be educated and launched into the world. Boys he found noisy and difficult to communicate with. Boys who seemed to be inheriting the worst characteristics of both sides of his family: indolence, passivity, and carelessness with money. He disciplined them at home, insisting on tidiness and punctuality, gave them tasks, inspected their clothes and their bedrooms, which led to mingled feelings of dislike and resentment and whispers of slavery and degradation. So he was the ultimate asshole dad, but not for the reasons that most dads are assholes. You know, there's, as misguided as it may be, a lot of asshole dads do it because their heart is in the right place. They think they're toughening their kids up. And he was like, nah, these are just little money grubbers. Like, there's too many of them running around. I've got to put all these little bastards through school. I've got to fucking wipe their shitty asses and feed their fucking hungry mouths. And while they're in my house, they're basically going to be treated like soldiers in a barracks or something.
They had like total resentment to having children, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. Total resentment for his children and his wife, as it turns out. Eventually, he decided he didn't want to be with his wife anymore after 10 kids, you know. Instead of just divorcing her, which he could have done, you know, relatively low key back in the day, he launched a huge smear campaign against her in the press. He started doing interviews with newspapers, criticizing her mothering skills, saying that she didn't love her kids and that her kids didn't love her, which was completely untrue because he was such an asshole at home. The kids doted on their mother. Even worse, he got complete custody of his kids. I guess that was the way it worked back in Victorian times. Fathers always got custody. And once he got custody of the kids, he refused to let them see their mom. So basically, the day that the marriage ended, he also took all 10 of the kids and wouldn't let them see their mother ever again, basically.
Fuck.
Till they were, you know, adults. So, yeah, that's a pretty big dick move in my estimation there.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, that's yeah, I think that's basically a fucking dick move. It's cruel, dude. Can't even fucking see your own kids. Ugh.
Yeah, imagine just like getting divorced and then smearing your wife all over hell and back in the papers.
Yeah, it's like my wife. She's a terrible mother.
Another case of a dude that just has like tons of power and a megaphone and shit. You know, this is why like some degree of Me Too shit was probably like a good thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, like there's this kind of unchecked like power to do whatever you want and fuck with other people's lives on this scale is like it's too much, especially when it gets in the hands of an asshole. It really sucks though, because you know you'd figure that a guy who makes his living, you know, getting in people's heads and you know wrote so many fucking you know rich, detailed, layered characters would have like you know the basic empathy to be like, no, I will not be that vindictive. That's wrong. That's like something a villain from one of my books would do. But
that's why
fuck you,
maybe
bitch.
that's why the villains in his books were so good and memorable. You know what I mean?
Because like, I'll just write about myself here.
What would I do?
What horrible shit would I do if I was in this instance?
So true, yeah. Jiggerath. Plorn does sound like a keenism.
I am Plorn.
Sitting there watching individuals
Plorn. Probably sit around do nothing but watch Plorn all day. Situation.
So true.
So how could I skip him? You know, this is a well-known asshole coming up next, but he's too much fun to look at and talk about, so we had to put him in here.
Oh. Dun, 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 dun. That's the Next Generation theme. Dun, 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 dun,
TOS, TJ.
Yeah, seriously, man. You're gonna get us fucking copyright struck.
Yeah, probably.
Good old William Shatner. Like I said, well-known asshole, but we had to go over some of it. There's no way you could do a comprehensive covering of all of his assholery.
You know, the thing I love about William, every other one of these assholes in this list kind of like tries to hide the fact that they're an asshole, you know, when they're like public facing in their public facing life.
Yeah.
But William Shatner, like, you don't if you sit down and watch any like interview with him or talk with him, you know, or anything like that, you kind of get
it's like I'm a prick.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, he never comes right out and says it, but he just acts. He cannot help himself but act like a fucking prick.
Right. And we'll cover that because, you know, it's not like he admits it. It'd be one thing. It's not like he just has zero self-awareness. He is a total asshole and he doesn't know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, you could tell in his mind, he's like, I am a nice dude.
Oh, yeah. He thinks he's a great fucking guy, a great friend, a great co-star, a great artist, of course.
Yeah.
So when Star Trek first aired in 1966, it wasn't a hit for NBC. Show only got 3 seasons and didn't become popular until it went into rerun in the 70s. And that's what propelled the series to its massive pop culture status. Those humble beginnings supposedly didn't stop Shatner from being a demanding star during the show's production. Nearly the entire crew of the Enterprise had problems working with him. And that's no joke. Pretty much every main character that was on the bridge or in the engineering bay of the Enterprise during that original series has an axe to grind with Will. So Star Trek became known for bridging racial divides. Actress Nichelle Nichols would have left after the first season.
Died.
Yeah, she did recently die a few weeks ago. She was planning on leaving after the first season just because working with him was so insufferable.
Yeah.
The only reason that she stayed on, and this is like, you know what I mean? This is what it took for her to stay on. Martin Luther King Jr. himself contacted her and was like, you have to stay on the show because you're...
Oh, yeah. I heard that story, but I didn't know it was because of Shatner.
Yeah.
I heard it was she just like, oh, yeah, she didn't want to be on the show. I didn't know that the Shatner was the reason, though.
No, it was Shatner.
I should have guessed.
I mean, come on, dude. It's fucking Bill Shatner, TJ. Really? You thought there was some other fucking different reason?
I know a little bit about this because I am kind of a Trekkie and shit. I'm not a huge fan of the original series, but I do know some stuff. And one of the things I know is that, like, basically, Shatner, you know, he viewed this show as like, I am the star of this show.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of an ensemble cast and stuff. So he really resented anybody else getting even a little tiny glimmer of spotlight. And he really drove him nuts that Leonard Nimoy was probably actually more popular than him.
He definitely was. And we'll get into that.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you're absolutely right. In his mind, he, you know, like, he's the captain of the ship. He's the star of the show. Everybody else is subservient to him. And it was that kind of rude dismissiveness that I think turned everybody against him. But yeah, MLK Jr. Himself, you know, got a hold of Nichelle Nichols and said, hey, you're an important role model for little black girls who, you know, really don't see anybody that looks or sounds like them anywhere on TV. You got to stay on the show. So even Walter Koenig and James Doohan, the Chekhov and Scotty, reportedly refused to speak with Shatner to this, you know, till they died because
yeah,
of how he was on the show.
Oh fuck, dude.
But he had the worst relationship, the most rocky relationship with Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock here. As the popularity of Star Trek grew, one character stood out ears and shoulders above the rest, Leonard Nimoy's Spock. Apparently, Spock got tons of fan mail. A lot of fan mail from women
oh shit,
who all wanted to crack Spock's icy exterior, to melt his icy Vulcan heart.
I mean, they'd never seen a character like Spock. I mean, like, let's face it, you know, like, Captain Kirk is fun to watch and stuff because the way he talks and his like hammy, fucking cheesy acting and stuff. And William Shatner's always been able to lean into that and find like the likableness in that.
Yes,
Sure.
You know, and I mean, even when he is being a total asshole, you still kind of like him because there's like a naivete to his assholishness, like you said.
It's not a malicious assholishness.
But I mean, if you think about this
yeah.
show in the context of the time and stuff, like there
Or
have been a
self-serving.
bunch of characters like fucking Captain Kirk before. Yeah, he's an intrepid explorer. He's an adventure guy. He's a man of action, blah, blah, blah. You've seen it. You know the fucking song and dance. But there's never been a fucking dude like Spock. There's never been this like, you know, dude who's like, he has all these emotions raging within, but like his culture has like a belief of like total emotional suppression and like a strict adherence to absolute logic and stuff. And there's like this wisdom and like warmth to him, but it's all hidden beneath this like icy exterior. And like you said, like that drives women crazy at the time. We're just like, oh yeah,
right.
I want to fucking see what I want to break through, you know?
Yeah, I want to get to that Vulcan passion.
I want to go where no one has gone before.
Right, exactly. You know, I want to find that emotionally vulnerable center of that cold Vulcan logical being, you know?
Well, Spock was awesome, dude.
Whereas Kirk was
so
like,
great for that role.
oh yeah, or I could fucking have some beer-bellied frat boy mount me and go, oh yes, baby,
the Starship Enterprise.
You know, that's not. And of course, this drives fucking Shatner
well,
crazy.
Bill Shatner played Star Trek
I'm
like
the fucking star. God damn it!
He played it like the 1950s sci-fi. You know what I mean? And there was a new era of sci-fi that was kind of arising. So he was kind of a relic of the past too, where Spock was more of like a modern sensibility at the time. So it was like really taking it in a new direction as well. So it was a more interesting character for several reasons.
Absolutely. A lot of, you know, there's, you know, people speculate back and forth about when, you know, his relationship with Spock really went to shit. But a lot of people say it was they were on the set one day, and who else but John Wayne himself showed up to the set. And apparently as soon as he got there, he was like, oh, I sure would like to meet that Spock fella.
Oh, fuck. Dude, John Wayne shows up.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. Where's Spock?
And John Wayne got to go into Spock's trailer, and they spent the whole day kind of like him and Spock just spent the whole day like fraternizing, and William Shatner was just seething.
What about
with rage.
me? I'm over here, guys.
John Wayne should want to see me. I'm the star, God damn it.
Oh, dude, that was 100% what was going through his mind.
So right around this time, Shatner went from just being kind of an asshole to work with on the set to actually directly fucking with Spock. Even Shatner, and this is one of the few times that Shatner has shown any kind of self-awareness, admitted in an interview that he was jealous of Leonard Nimoy and that he didn't handle himself, you know, like he should have. So,
you know, I mean, I feel like the arc of this kind of went to a point where even Shatner, because, you know, even though they had one of the rockiest relationships of this whole fucking duo, like it seemed like Leonard Nimoy was the only one who could actually fucking talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Like they actually maintained a relationship throughout the entirety of Leonard Nimoy's life. He maintained talking to William Shatner.
Well, they went for a long time and didn't speak, and then it was in the later years that they finally got back together at a con. And took a picture together, did a little interview together.
All these people would go to these cons, but Bill Shatner shit had to be separate. Like even the last con he went to, like he had his own thing. I mean, obviously, like, you know, that's because he still gets a lot of respect in the Star Trek community, but also it's because like he can't play well with those other people. You know, like they don't like him.
Yeah, I think the only other TOS member that was there was Takei, right? And they hate each other, obviously.
Yeah,
But I don't think there was any other original cast members. I think they're all pretty much dead now.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm talking about back in the day, from the documentaries I've seen.
Yeah, like in the 80s. And
I'm talking about like the first conventions. Obviously, yeah, the one we went to. I mean, but they still had to be separate because if they were good friends, they probably would have done the panel together. Is what I'm saying.
So one of the things that he would do to Spock was apparently Leonard Nimoy had a bike that was on set. The cast would get these short little breaks, and the studio set was huge. So it took a long time to walk over to where you could get some food. So Leonard Nimoy stashed a bike on set. And apparently Shatner would just like steal his bike and hide it behind the dumpster and shit just to piss him off. And a lot of people said it pissed him off because it showed off how athletic Leonard Nimoy was when he was riding his bike around the studio lot and he hated looking at it. You know what I mean? Because he was
He's too fit.
He was pretty famously like fat as fuck, even back like even
Oh,
in this
yeah.
picture here.
So one of the things that
he's got a girdle.
Yeah, one of the things that people, I mean, a lot of people probably do know this, but one of the things you might not know is even back in these days, this dude is wearing a hairpiece and a girdle because he is fat and he is bald. And you would think if you think that a dude that was fat and bald in the 60s would be fucking dead by now. But instead,
no,
he made some kind of Faustian deal where he just gets to live. I don't know. He gets to live for 200 years or something because he looks like a dude in his late 50s or maybe early 60s at this point, and he's like 98 or 95 or some crazy fucking up there. He's like insanely old. It's fucking insane that dude is still fucking.
Yeah, even seeing him when we went to that con like 5 years ago or probably 7 years ago. I mean, just for his advanced
and really
age.
like as sharp as he has ever fucking been. I'm not saying the dude was ever a fucking genius or anything, but like he's not lost a step. He is like, I mean, obviously he can no longer hide how fat he is because he's just a fat dude.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
girl
all
that's
over the
gonna
news.
hide that anymore.
He went into space with
he's like he holds the record. He's the oldest man in space.
He's probably the fattest man in space too.
He probably is.
What a beautiful thing that is.
Beautiful. I mean, apparently, I have a minor obsession with William Shatner, and you know this about me because I am fucking fascinated by his longevity and the fact that he does not age like the rest of us.
Yeah, he's 91.
He's a total prick. Yeah, he's in his 90s. Like
anybody fucking won.
Anybody who's fucking 90 anything should fucking not look and fucking sound and be able to fucking walk around like that dude does. He doesn't have a cane that I know of. When I watched him at that con, he was just like he wasn't in his 90s. It was like his mid 80s or fucking mid to late 80s, and he's just stalking the stage. He's just walking around, fucking holding the mic and talking and telling about his like motorcycle trip and all this bullshit. I'm just like, what the fuck?
I think he's a pretty active dude. I think he's someone that's always just stayed involved in all kind of aspects of his life. So he hasn't really had that decline. A lot of people like, I'm retired, take it easy. Like, I don't think he takes it easy, to be honest with you. Even though he's a fat old dude, he doesn't. I don't know how. He's 91, but hey, must have good genetics or something.
Apparently at some point during the shooting of the original series, things got so bad that Shatner was like stealing Spock's lines and shit. Like if Spock had a good line,
that's mine.
He would just like blurt it out before Spock would. And back in the day, they didn't do a bunch of retakes and shit. And so Spock, his moment to shine would be overcast by William Shatner's ego, basically.
Dude, I watched a highly rated episode of the original series. I'm gonna try once more to get into the original series. I'm not gonna try to go do it from the beginning. I'm gonna go find one of the highest rated episodes and watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I went and watched it, and I can't remember what the fuck it was called, but they traveled back in time and they were doing some shit. It doesn't really matter what the plot was. But the point is that it was so true to life because Captain Kirk basically did fucking nothing useful the entire time. Just barked orders at Spock, who did all the real work.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I was like, he looks so bad in this episode. I don't know how you can watch this and come away with the impression that he's the fucking hero. Like, they literally make him just like a fucking order barking bozo while Spock is like doing all the fucking work and just like making shit happen and like reminding him of his duties. And like, I don't know. He did it really it was insane. And I'm like, I can't believe that it was written like this. I can't believe it was depicted like this because it just seems so self-aware because it just seems so true to life. Like I didn't even see Captain Kirk by the end of the episode. I just saw William Shatner.
Yeah, for sure. Once you know a little bit about him, it's hard to see anything but William Shatner, no matter what he's doing.
Oh yeah, he's one of those people.
Apparently, one day things really came to a head between Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner. They were sitting in the makeup trailer, getting their makeup done and shit. And one of the major parts of Kirk's makeup was putting on his hairpiece, right? Because he was bald as a fucking cue ball back then. And so they're in there and there's a knock at the door. And Leonard Nimoy goes, "Oh, that must be the Life magazine photographer and interviewer. They're coming to do a piece on me and Mr. Spock today." And apparently fucking Shatner just blew up. probably both for the idea that somebody would come and do a piece on Spock and not Kirk, and because there would be photographers and shit around when he's getting his big old fucking rug put on his head. James Doohan actually recalled this because he was in the trailer as well in his memoir that
Good
he
old
wrote.
Scotty.
Scotty says Bill's hairpiece was being applied. The top of his head was a lot of skin and a few odd tufts of hair. The mirrors on the makeup room walls were arranged so that we could all see the laying on of his rug. So Shatner suddenly exploded angrily from his seat, ordered the photographer and the interviewer, get out, get the hell out of my trailer, man. He refused to let the rest of his hairpiece be applied until these people left. And then Leonard Nimoy, who honestly, like, there's some stories floating around about him being kind of an asshole too.
Right.
They got into one of those like cringy ass star fights where Leonard Nimoy was like, well, if you're going to kick out these interviewers, then I'm not putting on the Spock ears today. I'm not getting my makeup done. Fuck you. And they just both had like a big baby tantrum over it.
No. So like the whole thing just fucking gets like totally derailed at that point.
Of course. And everybody else that's there to shoot is sitting around on their hands for hours while these two fucking man babies figure it out,
Oh my.
Oh my. Oh, musculature. Oh yes. Nichelle Nichols on that day was on the verge of quitting because apparently after that, Shatner, when he finally did come out of his trailer to do work, he started bossing everybody around, intimidating the directors and the guest stars that were there that day, started stepping on everybody's lines during the shoot, and generally just basically taking control of the production. And she said that it disrupted the sense of family that the crew shared. So yeah, he just wasn't having it. Wasn't having Leonard Nimoy getting interviewed. His rivalry with Nimoy came to a head during the third and last season on TV when the series was struggling, before later being spun off into a wildly lucrative movie franchise. Nimoy went to the producers, demanded equal pay with Shatner, and insisted they confirm that Spock was indeed the show's true star.
Oh fuck. Damn.
If you can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, both of these fucking guys had huge egos, obviously.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do it. Nimoy's hopes were shattered. A ruling that left bad feelings. Yeah. Shatnered. Yeah. And that is what a lot of people say left bad blood between the two co-stars for.
It's probably why he fucking wanted
decades.
to be killed off in the next fucking movie,
Yeah. Almost 4 decades. These guys barely spoke to each other unless they were having to work together on a movie.
Yeah.
Did not like each other at all. For the sake of the Star Trek movies, Nimoy was able to set aside his feelings about Shatner.
So I will say one thing that does speak better about Nimoy than it does Shatner.
What?
So after they canceled Star Trek, they did that. They there was still fan demand for it, so they decided we're gonna do this. We're gonna do an animated show, right? And the two voice member cast they wanted to do for the animated shows, they wanted Shatner and they wanted Nimoy, but they figured everyone else we don't need the fucking actors for that shit. We'll just fucking get, we'll just get some cheap cartoon voice actors, basically.
Of course.
And Shatner was just like, yeah, that's fine.
Of course.
Fuck those people. But Leonard Nimoy actually did go to bat for the rest of the cast. Says, I'm not doing it unless everybody that fucking was on that cast gets to be on there. So he, he stood up for those people. Now, maybe he just did that because he liked to be the one that everybody liked to work with and not seen as the prima donna, even though he obviously kind of was. Or maybe he was just like a little bit more empathetic of a dude. I don't know what his reasoning was, but he did go to bat for the cast where Shatner was willing to just throw them all completely under the fucking bus.
So, pretty much everybody that was on this show with him, Takei included, talk about the thing that he did that pissed them off the most was because Shatner was such a fucking prima donna and a star. he would do these script edits like live, where it's just like, I don't like this scene with Takei. Cut it.
It's gone.
Rewrite this scene and put me in it. Scotty's getting too much airtime right now.
What?
We just cut this scene.
Don't cut me.
Cut Scotty out of this scene and put me in there. Well, sir, it's Scotty's fixing the engine. God damn it, Kirk can fix the engine.
What?
Yeah,
Kirk can fix the engine.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. Like it would be like a scene where Jimmy Doohan was supposed to be like trying to fix the engine, and Kirk would say, "No, that should be Kirk doing it." And they would put Kirk in there, monkey wrench.
Kirk should be like, drive. Scotty, you're an incompetent fool, and he just goes down there.
Step aside.
Step aside, idiot! I'll do your job better than you and captain the ship at the same time.
Yeah,
what a fucking ridiculous man.
George Takei explains, to me, more than ego, it looked like some deep-seated insecurity was driving Bill's congenital need to be the star. I think that's pretty spot on. Yeah. Shatner made things worse by often comparing himself directly to Captain Kirk, saying, we're basically one and the same, although Jim was just about perfect, and of course, I am perfect. So I'm even a little better than Kirk. In 3 short years of Star Trek, Shatner had become a total megalomaniac on the set. Many of the cast have come forward and talked about this. The vibrant young actor whom I met back in 1965 had reduced himself to the sad, stubborn, obvious butt of derisive jokes, said George Takei. Nichelle Nichols also saw his transformation continue over the decades, saying, I'd witnessed Bill change from my hero to an insensitive, hurtful egotist, and had seen his callousness affect everyone around him. So I pulled a couple of videos here. And this one I think is really good because this one, like you might say, like nothing he says in this video is on the face of it asshole-ish, but he still comes off like an asshole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is in response.
You literally cannot. There is no fucking clip where of William Shatner talking for any length of time where he doesn't come across like an asshole because he just cannot help it. It's just so ingrained.
The pomposity just comes shining through.
It does.
Pretty much
it's part of his
everything
personality.
He says.
Yeah, he's just very full of himself. He really is.
So this is him talking about why he did not do the cameo that J.J. Abrams wanted for Captain Kirk in the Star Trek remake. So let's take a look at this. I think this is William Shatner and his daughter sitting around in his office at home answering this question. So let's see.
This is from J.J. Abrams. We just got a couple business things here.
All right.
As of Monday, September 8th, J.J. Abrams, who is directing the new Star Trek movie,
yes, has directed it.
Has a quote. We actually had written a scene with him, meaning you, in it. That was a flashback kind of thing, but it didn't feel quite right. The bigger thing was that he was very vocal that he didn't want to do a cameo. We tried desperately to put him in the movie, but he was making it very clear he wanted the movie to focus on him significantly, which frankly he deserves.
Fuck them.
So that's J.J. Abrams' story. J.J. Abrams' story is that they reached out to William Shatner and he basically told them to go fuck themselves. I don't want to be in the movie unless
I have a role.
Unless you're going to not only I don't want to do a cameo. I want you to put me in as a major character in the movie, make the movie Captain Kirk centric.
They did that with Spock though.
So here's his answer to how that went down.
It goes on and says, well, his character died on screen. Maybe a smarter group of filmmakers could have figured out how to resolve that.
All right. So, JJ.
Not sure he means himself or other people.
No, all right. JJ's one of the smartest director around, writer, director. He has all these wonderful projects. JJ, I'm going to tell him personally. Okay, JJ, nobody ever came to me and said, we have a cameo. Okay. And maybe you wrote it, but it never presented itself to me. But the truth is, I wouldn't have wanted to do a cameo because that you would have clipped that out immediately. It doesn't fit. And you said in your statement, you're having trouble fitting it in anyway. But nobody ever asked me. And I'm just sorry that I'm not in your wonderful movie. And I would have loved to have been. And if you make another one, maybe you can think of ways of bringing the Captain Kirk back to life. I brought him back to life in one of my books very easily. It just, you get the machine, the machine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the air with a molecule.
So wait a minute, I want to say something here.
Yeah.
This dude does write books.
Yes.
As well. So my uncle, who's probably the biggest Trekkie, he's probably one of the fucking biggest Trekkies on Earth, honestly. He's watched every episode of every fucking Star Trek series a million fucking times.
Yeah, I mean, he knows the series.
And he's read tons of those Star Trek books as well. And he read one of Shatner's books. And he said basically, Shatner, it was weird because you'd think he would just want to write books about the original series and stuff, but he'd written a Next Generation book.
Yes.
And Guy was like, William Shatner does not know fucking anything about the Next Generation. There's so much wrong in this fucking book. It's like insane. They literally fucking set out to let's go to Borg space and drive like an hour and they're there. It's
wow.
Like, what?
We're there.
And it's like, that's like canonically so fucking far away,
Yeah.
Like
it's like the edges of the galaxy, right?
Yeah. It would be like, it'd be like if you were reading Lord of the Rings and it's like, let's go to Mordor. And then they just fast travel to Mordor.
We're there.
And they were there like 2 scenes later, like, here we are,
Yeah. So, and he also, in one of those books, just like brings back Kirk from the dead. He's telling us here how he did it. He doesn't even know the name of the transporters. Listen to how he describes the transporters here.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the air with the molecules of.
Hold on, let me go back a little bit.
Very easily. It just, you get the machine, the machine where you suck in the air with the molecules of Captain Kirk hovers, and you.
Yeah.
What?
The machine. Not the transporter, the machine where you suck in the air of molecules of Kirk standing there. That's how he describes the transporter as Captain Kirk.
You reassemble from the molecular structure
hovering machine.
Look at the hovering machine, and then you throw the switch on the right. The one on the right, you throw that switch, and then when that switch is done, you throw the one on the left, and out comes Captain Kirk, and reassembled.
You can tell that this is not like this could be construed as
how did you write a book of this? Did you write all that out when you wrote it?
You probably did. Kirk stood on the the molecular machine that sucks in the molecules from the air, and they threw the lever on the right and brought him back to life. The end.
Wow. Amazing.
You can tell like this could be construed as a joke, but you can tell he's totally serious and thinks this is just like brilliant commentary, and he's hoping that J.J. Abrams listens to him. It's like, here's how you could have done it, Jay. Just put him on the molecule machine, that reconstitutes people.
Yeah, put him on the moleculizer, and bam.
What's even more bitter is that Leonard Nimoy had a role in that Star Trek reboot.
Yeah, he did.
Fairly significant one. I mean, it wasn't like a huge role, but it was a pretty fucking important one to the movie.
Probably much to the chagrin of Captain Kirk.
I'm sure.
We've got DNA of dinosaurs of 160 million years old. We're trying to right now with our primitive. We're not talking about 2300 now. We're talking about 2008. We're trying to assemble the DNA of a 160 million year old being, and we think we can do it.
Well, I'm
you don't
hopeful
think you can get Captain Kirk back to life?
I think I'm hopeful that this new version will continue, and who knows?
Yeah,
I feel hopeful about the future.
That's like the nice way to put it. Maybe someday.
Yeah.
But JJ, you're a wonderful guy, and you're wonderful, and we've met several times, and I admire you very much. But nobody.
Great, but please put me in the fucking movie.
Please get me in the fucking movie.
God, I want to be in the film so bad.
Please do it.
I'll do anything.
JJ, please.
So even though he basically, like, if you listen to the words that he says about J.J. Abrams, he's nothing but positive. He's a brilliant director.
Just clearly ass kissing shit. He's just like doesn't he doesn't want to get on here and talk shit, but you could tell he wants to real bad.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But the way it comes off is just like basically like he's saying, "I'm superior to you, J.J."
Yeah, like it's very condescending because he does. I mean, like you can tell he does think that. He's just
100%.
like has an air of like I am the best person. in this room. I'm the best person in any room I'm in at any time.
And what he's alleging makes no fucking sense either. Like J.J. Abrams is talking about like a whole scene that they wrote for the movie and that they were considering filming. Why would they even do that and never go to William Shatner? You know that that's just a complete and fucking total lie. Maybe not in William Shatner's head. Maybe he doesn't remember it. But you know that he was contacted about this. You know what I mean? Like,
almost certainly.
There's no way.
It just wasn't big enough. You know, he probably just realized that Leonard Nimoy was getting a bigger role in the movie, and it's like, oh, we'll give you a cameo. And it's like, nope, I don't want to do that.
I pulled this one too. I think we've listened to this before, maybe on DP way back in the day, but this is just too good to skip.
Right.
This is a classic. William Shatner going ape shit in a recording studio, just being the most smug, hard to work with bastard while trying to record this commercial, I guess.
I love when this happens.
So here we go. Let's have a listen to this.
I got to play you this. This is William Shatner in a recording session. It's just so great. It really goes on a while, too. That's what's great about it.
This is not a quick one, huh?
He's inconsolable.
This
It's
is
not like
William
just like a
Shatner.
moment of like,
And I would
fuck
like
you.
to
You know, oh shit, he let it slip.
Damn.
Yep.
Into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
Can there be a little more excitement in the beginning?
Fuck you.
What?
I love it. Okay. All right.
It sounded like really laid, really super laid back.
Well, I'm saying, okay, I'll try and do that. Let's take two.
You're a son of a bitch, and I want you to
This is
die.
William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. Well, speak up, and maybe you better do it the way you hear it. Do it for me. No, I mean just go ahead.
This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me.
This guy.
So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
Is that the way you'd like me to do it? Okay, I'll do it that way. Okay, ready.
You're terrible.
William Shatner.
Is that you want to do it? That horrible, awful shit? Okay. Yeah.
And he just does like a one for one impersonation of the guy's monotone read. I love it.
Oh man.
Journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely.
I have to
You'll be
say,
amazed
his
at
read
what
was
you
fine
hear.
the first time.
Yeah,
He
it
really
was.
did just do it fine. I don't know who this guy is that thinks he's like trying to like, oh no, can we get to take like more energy, more this? It's like you got William Shatner. It's like just let him be William Shatner.
Yeah, his read was fine. It was like he flubbed.
He's not gonna
anything.
fucking give you. He's not gonna give you dig deep and give you that better read for your generic ass commercial. All right.
Once again, this shows you though, it's not overt assholery. It's the like obvious layer of smugness that's draped over everything that makes him
Oh yeah.
one of history's greatest assholes, you know.
Okay, so I think that came pretty close.
I'm sorry. Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm doing.
Just testing.
No. I believe that you asked that was about the way you did it. I wasn't jesting.
Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No. I insist. Now, what I want you to do is is that satisfactory to you?
I don't know. Maybe I should have just kept my mouth shut. I mean,
No.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
could
Yeah,
have.
probably so.
You just had the realization that William Shatner will never have. The self-awareness has crept in, and you should have just taken that first take and said, "Thank you,
Thanks.
Mr. Shatner. That'll be all."
Because if your mouth were open, you'd have popped some pills in them. So do the next paragraph for me so I can get an idea of how you
Pop
want
some
it.
pills.
Page
Oh
2.
my god.
Pillhead.
I don't know. I really don't want to because I think you actually have a much better feel.
No, I don't think I do. I would like to hear you read the second paragraph so I can do it that way.
Now it's fucked. Now you're fucked.
Dude, he's fucking. Yeah.
This engineer's been called away. I'll have a new engineer come replace him.
Yep. No, you're going to
that's
read
such a
every one
fucking
of these things,
flex.
and I'm going to read it exactly how you do. So please,
That's
please.
so brutal.
Second
So
paragraph.
fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Putting this dude on the spot.
You know, I really, now that I looked at the different things you did, I really like the first one. But
No, I like it better the way you did it.
Oh, fuck.
Man,
Man, he's so good at it.
Yeah,
He's
you
so
go ahead.
fucking good at being an asshole. Because you know what? It's just like, oh no, your way is much better.
Yeah, I love
Like,
it.
oh my god, it's like something out of a fucking movie.
Fantastic.
It really is.
Wow. What a
They- like-
fantastic asshole.
After he dies, there needs to be a biopic about William Shatner's life, and they need to get a very good actor to do it. And I'll watch it for sure.
Oh my god, yes. 100%. Thank you.
Really, I mean it. Please read, play, so I can get an idea of what you want. No, I'm going to do
It's just he frames it in such a way where it's like the guy can't. Everyone knows what he's doing, but like there's enough plausible deniability there that he can just be like, "Well,
No,
no,
you tell me.
I was just trying to get." He offered me direction, and I just wanted to, hear his suggestions about how it should be read. It's like, oh fuck.
reading it. Okay? I know you're here to see that I do it the way the company wants it, so I'm going to do it the way you read it.
Well, but I don't want you to do it.
But you're telling me how you want me to do it.
Well, I'm sorry.
No. I am going to
I'm
do
sorry.
it.
Yeah, no, that's
No
too
apology
late.
necessary. You know what you want. You know what you want.
No, I don't. I remember.
You
No, I don't.
know what you want.
Well, I come in here because I know you're a professional. I mean, and you know how to do it. And I'm sorry I even said it.
He fucked up so bad.
The way you want. Every paragraph.
You may as well just give up now, sound engineer guy, because you're fucked.
Yeah,
Like,
you just go along. Like the best thing you can fucking do at this point is just go along with it. Be like, okay, call his bluff and just do what you got to do.
Yep, do your best, and hopefully he mocks you in a way that you can use for the commercial. Because
Yeah.
And you'll send it back to town, and you'll see whether, I hope it will please everybody else. As long as I'm pleasing you, that's all that matters.
Mr. Shatner, would you please, I don't feel right about doing that, I really.
Well, no, you felt you wanted
Don't feel right. Like he's tried everything. It's like he's not letting you out of it.
you're not going to negotiate your way out of this fucking Chinese finger torture he's putting you through, dude. You're just gonna have to bend over and take it. Because he's zeroed in on the most asshole-ish thing that he could do in response to your kind of assholishness. But it's clear who the bigger asshole is on set.
You shouldn't have done it, man. You shouldn't have done it.
How has William Shatner never been your president? Dude, good question. I don't know.
He's
Maybe,
Canadian.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Not only that, but I
Not
don't think William Shatner would want to be president. I feel like he would probably feel it's beneath him. So
Yep.
Okay, let's lay down the second paragraph.
Wow.
I love it. All right, let's lay down the second paragraph. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're collaborators now. You're gonna show me exactly how it's done. Come on. Get it moving. Oh man. So we got one more person to talk about tonight.
Don't even say it, Paul. This must be you must have mispulled something here.
I know. Old Blue Eyes was an asshole. Old Frank Sinatra was an asshole.
I don't fucking believe it.
Absolutely an asshole. Frank Sinatra was iconic on stage and in movies and music, but there was a lot of shady stuff that happened off the record. Let's talk about a part of that. It seems to be at the center of a lot of the asshole stories that are about Frank Sinatra. That's his temper. According to the Telegraph, his temper was so bad that one of his wives once described him as a sort of Jekyll and Hyde type of character. And there's a whole list of physical altercations he was involved in. First, the ones where somebody got seriously hurt. He cold-cocked a reporter in 1948, eventually settling the assault and battery charge filed against him. He was one of those guys that, like, that was just part of the territory. You know what I mean? He was probably happy to pay people off after he'd knocked their dicks in the dirt. He was staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel one time when he threw a phone at a random businessman who had nothing to do with him that was there. cracked the
shit.
guy's skull open.
Oh,
just
shit.
Flew into a
Russell
rage.
Crowe did that at one point, too. I remember that.
Yeah.
He did to a hotel clerk, though. It was a little bit different.
He just flew into a rage in the hotel lobby for whatever fucking reason and tried to crack some dude's, well, succeeded in cracking some dude's skull open with a telephone. He nearly killed his wife, Ava Gardner, by throwing a full champagne bottle at her so hard that it destroyed the bathroom sink.
Fuck.
So, I mean, if you know anything about like the porcelain that they use for sinks and toilets and shit, like it can be broken, but you got to really fucking go at it.
Oh, yeah.
And it just blew the whole sink up and missed her by just inches. Sinatra destroyed an insane amount of stuff too. One of the things he was known for was just grabbing whatever expensive shit happened to be around and breaking it.
What the fuck, dude?
He got pissed off one time at an art gallery and whipped out a knife and just destroyed a Norman Rockwell painting.
Whoa.
Just went fucking ape
Jesus
shit.
fucking Christ, dude.
Yep. Shredded a Norman Rockwell painting to the point
Different
where,
rules for different people, huh?
Yeah, for sure. He had a hotel room, a suite at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas, and one of the TVs apparently in the room was not working, and so he threw it out the fucking like 8th story window, where it very luckily for him just smashed onto the ground and didn't kill anybody walking by. And apparently he destroyed an entire rental car because when he turned the radio on, the Doors' Light My Fire came on, and he hated that song.
What?
Come on, baby. Fuck this song!
Yeah. It's like I looked into it. It said that like he just like he whipped the car over onto the side of the road and just started kicking the interior and just destroyed the entire like radio deck and the steering wheel and the air conditioning vents. He just destroyed the car from the inside out because a song came on the radio. Probably the worst thing that he ever destroyed though was he was staying at a Hong Kong hotel. And they were filming in the lobby of this hotel for one of his movies. And somebody on the set missed a lighting cue, causing them to have to do a retake. And we actually covered this, if you'll remember, in the Marlon Brando episode. Sinatra hated doing retakes.
Oh, shit.
And if you'll remember, another asshole that could have easily been on this list, but we've already covered him in depth. Marlon Brando knew
yeah,
that Sinatra hated doing retakes.
Oh, yeah.
And they were doing a scene where Sinatra had to eat a piece of cheesecake. And so,
yeah, I remember this story. Yeah.
Brando intentionally kept flubbing his lines. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do it. And then they'd have to bring a fresh piece of cheesecake.
Oh, another piece
Take
of cheesecake.
180. Yeah, that sucks.
And then finally, Sinatra, after 8 or 10 takes, Sinatra was like, "Motherfucker, how many cheesecakes do you think I can fucking eat?" Just lost his top. So apparently this happened. Filming this movie in Hong Kong. Somebody misses a lighting cue, causes a retake. He grabs a priceless Ming vase that was displayed on the set and just smashes it to shit right there on the set. So once again, different rules for different folks. It was a totally like one of those, like Ming vases or whatever. I don't know much about vases and shit, but those.
Yeah, but it's like some kind of priceless fucking thing,
right?
Right. Yeah. There's
ancient.
There's so few of them,
kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. That they're just worth an incalculable amount of money. Just fucking smashed that shit. Here's a article I pulled. A guy talking about the summer afternoon Frank Sinatra tried to beat him up, and it's another one of those things where like the guy didn't, you could just tell the guy was a rage beast because there's really no conflict here. It's just Sinatra flying out the handle. So I'll read it to you here. It was I was 24 in the summer of 1952. I had recently completed the U.S. Army Signal Corps officer candidate school. I was assigned to a pictorial center, formerly Paramount Studios in Long Island, as a screenwriter. I'd never written a film. I knew absolutely nothing about filmmaking. Along with a small group of junior and second lieutenants, we were taught composition and screen direction and then told to go out and practice. We'd make little forays onto the local streets, shooting some footage, I guess, to get some experience. Someone in our group suggested that we film a ship, the SS United States, I think, sailing that day from its dock in the Hudson River. Sinatra had a girlfriend who was having a bon voyage party in her stateroom. We took our gear and went into Manhattan. At the dock, we set up several cameras and filmed the departure preparations, and we packed up and went to the party on the boat. The girlfriend, of course, traveling first class, but the ship had been standing in the harbor in the hot July sun for several days, and its cabin and the corridor outside it were really miserably hot and stuffy. Each stateroom had its own bon voyage party, and each had too many guests. The overspill stood shoulder to shoulder in the crowded corridor and sweated miserably. We tried to concentrate on the party in our stateroom and to ignore the ones on either side, but it was hard to tell which guests were which. My uniform was plastered to me with sweat. I had people standing on all sides of me in the airless heat, drinking and perspiring. Suddenly, I was viciously shoved from behind. Because the jostling was lowish on my back, I assumed it was a small woman. The jabbing pushes continued. Stubborn and out of sorts, I stood my ground. Suddenly, I was grabbed by the arms by two of the largest men I'd ever seen and dragged through the crowd. At the same time, I saw 2 or 3 men holding a small, slight man who was shouting at me, flailing his arms, trying to rush at me, attempting to slug me. He was swearing loudly at me. "I'm going to kill you, you motherfucking son of a bitch." It was a very drunk and aggressive Frank Sinatra who had not liked someone standing close to him and not giving him space and deference. The guys holding me and him were his handlers. Sinatra continued to swing at me, and I swear, even when we were held with a 6-foot space between us, I remember his angry face and as much of the tone of his voice as could be heard above the din of the adjacent parties. His handlers dragged him away from the party and off the ship, and the two holding me tried to straighten my rumpled, clammy uniform, addressing me as captain, major, and colonel, while apologizing for, quote, Frank's temper. When Frank Sinatra died in May 1998, I wrote this account for my daughters with the title Strangers in the Night. So there you go. That's just one guy's run in, and you can see he did nothing. He was just standing around in a place that was like clearly it's crowded, so there's people crammed in and shit. He didn't even know Sinatra was there.
Yeah, I didn't even care. Yeah.
Sinatra's, drunk as fuck, shoving him from behind because he, was in his personal space, I guess. So here's another pretty big dick move that Frank did. While he married women like Ava Gardner and Mia Farrow, his most legendary partner was no doubt Marilyn Monroe. Their relationship took a few weird turns along the way. The couple started dating after Monroe broke up with playwright Arthur Miller, and Sinatra introduced the blonde bombshell to John F. Kennedy. But the strangest moment of their odd friendship was the infamous Wrong Door Raid, a bizarre scandal that involved baseball legend Joe DiMaggio, pictured here with Frank. It was 1954, and while DiMaggio and Monroe were married, their relationship was souring. One night in November, Jolton Joe and Sinatra were dining in a Hollywood restaurant when the center fielder got a phone call. A private eye had tailed Monroe to an apartment building and suspected she was in there with some other dude. Infuriated, DiMaggio and Sinatra just got up and bolted out of the restaurant. They didn't even pay the check. But I guess it wasn't that big of a deal because the maitre d' quit his job so he could go along with them.
Whoa, all right.
The maitre d' was like, "I'm not missing this, man. Joe DiMaggio and Frank Sinatra are going to go fucking bust into Marilyn Monroe's room. Fuck this. Take this job and shove it. I'm out."
Yeah, seriously.
He desperately wanted in on the action. So the crazy bunch stormed into an apartment complex, kicked down a door. They had a camera on them. They rushed to the bed, assuming that they were going to catch, Marilyn in bed with another man. They flipped on the lights, and instead of Marilyn, they found a terrified woman named Florence Kotz. They broke into the wrong room, drunk as fuck, as they were. And as soon as they saw that they were in the wrong room, they basically just like dropped the camera and scattered. Like everybody just was like, "Oh shit, wrong room." Marilyn was in the apartment building, but in a completely different apartment, and she was actually visiting a female friend of hers. Mrs. Kotz sued the group and won what was probably a lot of money back then, $7,500.
Oh shit.
1954. I don't know. Let's do it. Can you do, TJ? Do you have the inflation calculator right there?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Yeah, find out how much she won. I want to see how much $7,500 in 1954 money was. Probably like,
damn. It's gonna be quite a bit.
70 or 80 grand.
4. And that was how much?
7,500.
7,500. That'd be about $82,604.83.
Damn.
82,000.
Not a bad payout. As for DiMaggio, he eventually divorced Monroe and grew bitter towards Sinatra, and I guess in the later years blamed Frank Sinatra and the Kennedys for Marilyn's death. Near the end of his life, the Yankee forbade anyone from speaking Sinatra's name anywhere in his presence. So I guess they were friends once, but friends no longer.
Yeah, till the end.
And that's what I got for you today on the history's biggest assholes. Definitely, you know, like as hard as it was to find these, there were a few that I left off that we could use for a second round of this, including some female applicants. So if you like this show, let us know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you for being patrons. Thank you for supporting what we do here. We very much appreciate all of you.
Yep.
I don't, because I'm an asshole.
Shut up, TJ.
Shit. TJ's the Shatner of the cast.
All right, TJ's been muted. Sorry, guys. We muted TJ.
Yeah, mute him up. And that's what we got. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.